Hello out there in internet land. This is, well, if you don't know who I am, why are you watching this? Well, actually, I should tell you, this is Ricky Ritzel at Brandy's world famous piano bar up on the Upper East Side of New York City in what we hope is the beginning of a series for, nightlifeexchange.com. And I'll be interviewing celebrities, infamous and famous, and people from the cabaret world. Now, I've been around New York cabaret for 30 years, and it shows. Every moment of it shows. But you know, when I found out who I was going to be interviewing, I thought about, cabaret and the fact that it's evolved over the years. You don't even see it evolving until, you're now and you're looking back and you see what has happened. And it's come a long way, but also it's lost something, I think, and that is there's a safeness to cabaret now. There's it's all very safe, and there's very little edge. I think that's what cabaret is all about edge. It's all about taking chances. It's all about not playing it safe. And to be totally fucking honest here, if I see another sexless, eunuch-like, playing it safe, cabaret singer or instrumentalist or both, I'm going to fucking puke. Now that I got that off my chest, I want to introduce somebody that, from the word go, never ever has played it safe. And now please welcome our first and only guest. This is Kristine Zbornik.
Hello. It's me.
I'm glad you're here.
Where am I looking? Am I looking there?
That's them. Say hi up there.
Hi, them.
So, Kristine.
It's them! Wasn't there a movie called Them? John Carpenter. Is it Ants?
No, that was they.
They.
John Carpenter was they. Them was the
I thought
giant
there was a
ants.
them. Okay.
Them
Anyway.
with an exclamation.
Is that who's watching? Giant ants.
Yes. Giant ants and giant uncles.
Oh God! Oh don't talk about giant uncles. I had an Uncle Ed who used to tickle me till I urinated on his lap, and he wore a Hitler mustache and lived in the basement. I kid you not.
Perfect.
Uncle Ed.
Whose basement?
His own.
Oh.
Well, Aunt Rose and Uncle Ed had a farm, of course. Don't they all have farms?
It happens.
Yeah.
You can't tell that this woman is now in a featured role.
Yeah, featured role, yeah.
In the New York Shakespeare Festival's production of Into the Woods.
Mm-hmm. I play Jack's mom.
That's fabulous.
I don't have a last name. Well, maybe In the Beanstalk.
You don't have a first name either.
No, I don't. Just Jack's mom. You're right. I haven't looked at the program because I don't tend to look at programs because they aggravate the shit out of me. I just give them what I would like written about me, and then they change it, and I never look at it
really?
again.
They changed it?
Oh, yeah.
I thought they weren't allowed.
They aren't.
Now, is this the same they that we were talking about earlier?
Them.
Yeah,
Those
okay,
ants.
that's what I thought.
Those ants at the public theater.
Wow, Kristine, you've done your share of legitimate theater.
Yeah. I don't call it legitimate. I call it corporate. Because that's really what it is. That's what it's been since, what's that fucking choo-choo train musical where everybody was on? Starlight Express.
Starlight Express,
Since
right,
then,
right.
I would say, and I mark that as the beginning of corporate theater, in that it was something that nobody wanted to see, but somehow they got an audience for it, and it kept going on, and that's sort of when I remember it becoming like really shitty and boring and uninteresting.
When that was around, I thought, well, it's all Andrew Lloyd Webber, and now
Yeah.
people think he can do no wrong.
Yeah.
But the whole corporate thing, I mean, that's so obvious now with the naming of theaters after businesses and.
But I also think about it as corporate from the standpoint of how it's run.
Oh yeah.
I am so nervous when I do a corporate show, Mamma Mia, 9 to 5, this. Even though this is not considered corporate theater, it is to me in how I feel when I'm in it, which is that I don't have any room to breathe. Everything is metered to such a degree that you can't waver much in what you're doing on stage, which is the polar opposite of what I do when I do cabaret or piano bar.
Yeah, but you were trained as a corporate theater actress, though.
Yes, but I got trained, I never did musical theater kind of training stuff. I studied with this woman named Frances Cheney, who was a neighborhood playhouse person and studied under Sanford Meisner. And then she was married to a guy named Ring Lardner Jr., and he was one of the Hollywood 10, and he was in prison. And she had this huge history, and with that, she got blacklisted and didn't work. So she became a teacher. And she was incredible. But what I'm saying is, nothing that I learned in there really applies to how I had to learn another way to make it happen in a spontaneous looking way than what I was taught in any training I had. And I don't know what that means. However, I have to say in piano bar, I can work off the audience. I can do that Meisner technique when I work in, because you tell me something and I respond, and it's not about me, it's about what I'm getting and this and that, you see?
Well, exactly. I always found the best training for piano bar, whether you're a piano player or a performer, standing up, is going to acting school rather than music school.
Oh, I think that's true.
Because
good
you're a
acting
character,
school.
Yeah. You're Kristine Zbornik, but you're Kristine Zbornik in front of them.
That's right.
And there's a handful of us that are like that. I mean, I consider Elaine Breyer the same way.
Yeah. And George Sanders.
Oh, absolutely. But the thing is, with you doing, you forgot to mention Cater to Fair, which I thought.
Oh, Cater to Fair. And these are good shows that I've been in. It's not that. It's how they're run. And Cater to Fair was really, it was flawed but beautiful.
It was from the heart, that's for
sure. It was from the heart.
I mean, the creators of that, who we know personally.
Yeah.
They took a lot of time with this.
They did.
And it was an effort, a flesh and blood effort. A lot of that went into it. But as far as regular theater versus cabaret, you find it much more free in cabaret, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Look, I am a nervous person. I fear going from real self out into the public. So I have a certain amount of anxiety about any sort of performing. But in the cabaret setting, I no longer question myself once I jump in the water. I'm there and it rolls. How it rolls, and I have a certain amount of prepared material which structures me to be able to go outside of it and then come back to it, right? You know what I'm saying? And when I do my own club act, which is more structured, I used to write it all. Because I wanted to get ideas across. And if you want to get ideas across, you really have to be specific. And I realized that it's better for me to have all of that written material, which I've memorized, over on the side, so that as I slip in and out of the moment, I can refer back to it, not to read it off the page.
Right.
Because I saw George Carlin when I was in Vegas doing Mamma Mia. I saw him 3 times, and I saw Tom Jones 4 times. And what what I noticed about the way George Carlin was is he'd have a table like this and he'd have all of his shit on there. And he hardly ever referred to it, but he always had it with him. And he was like, he's my hero. I mean, he's the guy that I want to work like. He would make a new show every 2 years, but that show would slowly evolve into the previous show.
Right.
Which is why there was a lot of new material there and stuff. Anyway, I decided after I saw him to structure my next act like that, and I did, and it was my favorite one to do. Then the last one I did was at Mama's, which was very free form, but I like that. And again, I don't remember the name of it.
Well, Kathy Griffin does the same thing.
Oh.
With the table and
I like her.
And you know what though? I mean, Carlin moved all over the stage.
He did.
Griffin stays in one.
She does.
She barely shifted her weight.
Huh.
And you didn't notice it till after. You're like, she never fucking moved.
Really?
Yeah.
Live, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, we saw her at the theater at Madison Square, whatever that is.
Wow.
And she was the same way.
And did you like it?
I thought she was brilliant. And I don't watch her TV shows.
No, me neither. I
thought she was terrific on stage.
Wow.
But it's a cabaret act. Mm-hmm. What Carlin does is a cabaret.
Yeah.
Tom Jones, that's a cabaret act.
Yeah.
I would see Cher at Madison Square Garden in front of what, 24,000 people, and it was a cabaret act.
Well, and what defines that in your mind?
An intimacy with the audience.
Okay.
Because you can be standing there in front of 10 people, in front of 100,000 people, and if you bring them in, and you're that comfortable on stage and you're talking and just doing this, that's a cabaret nightclub.
Okay.
Springsteen, I think the same thing.
Who?
Springsteen.
Really?
Absolutely.
I've heard his live shows are unbelievable.
Wonderful, but he's sitting in a bar like this, doing it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I always want a sense of that intimacy in whatever I do.
Well, I mean, the thing is with you, and having worked with you, watching you
a lot together,
knowing you, it's just the inventiveness and the imagination that you approach your material with. Knowing firsthand how I don't know how you go about it because you're fucking twisted. But watching you get to that point, when you were doing that stuff with the Loungeliers, I was just like,
oh, the Loungeliers
wow.
That was some of my best stuff.
It's just amazing the way you would come up with things. And it didn't come from a logical point of view at all. But it came from this, I don't know.
But see, Ricky, there is a logic to it. If
Well,
you think about it, there is always like a natural reason why.
All comics are like that too. There's a logic to whatever their comedy is.
Right.
Because
it's just not expected.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the one example I'm thinking of is Girl from Ipanema.
Oh, Girl from Ipanema. But it's so obvious that she's blind. It's in the lyrics.
I know, but you start. She just doesn't see. She doesn't see me. She just doesn't see. Brilliant. And when you start knocking over tables, just walking into tables.
Oh, Ricky.
Not caring.
Yeah, well, I have to say though, with the Loungeliers, I did come up with about 20 things, and maybe more, maybe 30, and like 10 of them I still use. Which I have to tell you, I have this thing called 85%. It's a long thing, and it's actually a play I wrote. But my brother's an artist, Matt. Yeah. He says that 85% of what you do, you throw out or think of. And he believes that's for somebody like Mozart. Like, most people get rid of 95%. The point is, you have to have so many ideas to come in to get any good ones. You have to be failing all the time, which gets back to your original point in the introduction about safety. I don't think people want to discard their ideas to get to a deeper one willingly enough. I think they're too afraid that they don't have anything underneath that. So they go with that first choice, which is really probably a spark of the best idea. You know what I'm saying? So to keep 10 pieces out of 30 is a ridiculously high percentage.
Right.
I don't think working from the outside in is the best way. I like working from impulse or deep feeling. I carry around a notebook with me at all times,
Right.
From Dwayne Reed or wherever the fuck, the cheapest one I can get. And I just write shit down all the time that bugs me or that pops into my head. Things that bug me are the most powerful.
What you were talking about with corporate theater and money being involved.
Yeah.
Art has become so money driven.
Yeah.
And just recently, only within the past few months, I've started thinking, I need to create without any thought that it can make me money.
Mm-hmm.
Because I need to create first, because I need to create.
That's right.
And you,
Otherwise,
I think you have
you'd have
always
gotten
thought that way.
Yeah. But don't glamorize this too much, Ritzel, because I just have to say, anybody who looks at me and thinks that I didn't have, like, God damn, this fucking mosquito, ulterior motives. My ulterior motives just weren't necessarily financial. And my ulterior motives and how I, let's say, hoard out my creative self was for, and has been and continues to be for attention.
But that's the whole artist thing, though.
Is it?
I mean, first of all, we start. I need to draw this picture, right?
Yeah.
I need it to be there.
Yeah.
Now, it's my choice whether I want somebody to see it.
Yeah.
Your first inclination is,
look, I drew
Exactly.
a picture. I know.
so I don't think that's...
Really? I have a lot of shame about this attention
That's
issue.
not uncommon.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. I feel like it sometimes gets me in trouble. See, because what I'd really rather do is work on my shit. I'm writing a musical now that's really fucking good and interesting with Eric James, and I'm writing a new club act. It's called I Shit My Pants Today in Montauk, and I've been writing it.
That's not taking chances at all.
But the point is, I keep getting these other jobs where people pick me, and I'm a whore for being picked.
Yes.
And I don't necessarily enjoy that. But I find myself in a situation with a lot of other people. God, this fucking mosquito. I say it's Bob Harrington. He won't leave the bars.
I love him.
He's no longer with us. But the point is, I feel like this need for attention, this need to be picked, has sometimes taken me away from the deeper need to express ideas and create, as you're talking about. Because I feel like my creative self is used in a very marginal way in these corporate shows. I do get to, like, if it's a good situation, make the character whatever I want it to be. If it's a good situation, a lot of times they make me do what, I'm like a tool. I call myself a skin prop in a lot of these shows.
Right.
That hired gun for their concept. But sometimes they let you do your thing. And then you just have to repeat that thing over and over again. And this is what it is.
The thing is, and it's hard as an artist to think this way. But you're doing it. You're struggling, but you're doing it. You're thinking, I don't need to create for money. I need to create for creating. And if I happen to make money out of it, fine.
Yeah.
And it's a constant struggle, right?
Right, constant.
Good. At least I'm not...
Oh, it's a constant struggle, and I can't pay my rent.
Right.
And I'm not saying that proudly. I'm saying, really a working, successful actor, I can't pay my rent from it, and I'm not a spend freak. I bring home, and I want to just say this, the public theater, after taxes, I bring home $484 a week. I used to make that in 1 or 2 nights in the bars.
Right. Which is why so many people don't want to leave them.
That's right.
When can we see? When can we expect to see?
I shit my pants today in Montauk.
Yes.
I'm hoping for February.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nothing before the new year, huh?
It depends, you know. I want to work this stuff up with Pico, Bobby Pico, and he's out of town.
Right. Yeah.
And I have all my notes for the last 2 years and 3 months,
Good.
and all the song ideas. So it's just gonna be compiling that.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait.
Thank you, Ritzel. Love ya.
Thank you.
Bye.